Happy New Year, everyone. Happy 2022. And yeah, we finally made it through the first week of the year. And I want to wish everybody really, really happy New Year, happy first week. Um, if you made your any New Year resolution, I hope it's going strong for you. If you haven't started, again, it's only the first week. You still have time. Life is about you know not how fast you achieve it, right? It's about whether or not you're committed, you're started, you're committed towards your goals. Again, life is it's not a sprint, it's more of a marathon, it's a journey. So with that being said, one of my new year resolution is to do something new, to kind of push the envelope a little bit. So hence this video. It's the first video that I'm recording, and I hope that it's gonna come out good. And then going forward, I will be posting more videos on some of the topics that I will be covering is just current events, a little bit of politics, if it happened to be politics related, um, sports sometimes. As people may say, sport is just a microcosm of society, right? So sports, I love sports. Um, so yeah, so that's what, and then my opinions obviously on those topics. And so, with that being said, some of you might say, or my questions. First thing is the mask. What's up with the mask? And so, some of the things that you know, um, that I will be covering or that I will be talking about, touching on, might be very touchy topics. Politics. We live in such a divisive, divided world right now, where um, if you don't, if you have a, if you have any kind of opinion, any kind of thoughts on the topic, there's going to be a lot of backlash regardless of the context, right? And so, and since I'm new to this, um, and I also have a daytime job as well, so the mask, uh, hence the mask. So, and then obviously the American, you know, um, flag on it. I love this country. I it's such a it's the best country in the world. So what's the other way to represent, right? So let's jump right into the first things that we'll be discussing this week or today is obviously the to this week was the 1 year anniversary of what happened on January 6th of last year, right? 2021. Um, Again, this is probably one of the uh, uh, polarizing topic that I will be talking about, that I will be touching on, regardless of your political affiliation, your political ideology, what you think, policy wise, if you're a conservative, you're a liberal. What happened on January 6th of 2021 of last year was unimaginable, was abhorrent. Um, I've never seen anything like that in my lifetime in this country. It's just it's just unfathomable to me. I was that day I was working, looking through my Facebook feed, and I couldn't believe what I saw. So I went and turned on the TV, and every channel was tuning in on this event, and to see the such the U.S. Capitol, what it stands for, where legislatures, where lawmakers work, to create laws for this great country, to see that it was breached, that people storming in, lawmakers have to lock the doors in the chambers, you know, um, security, had to have gun drawn and waiting by the door. It's very hurtful. It's just, to me, is a really low point in our country history. To be quite honest with you, again, I don't know. I wonder what the history books will be written about this event in 50, 100 years from now in U.S. history textbook for our kids, for our grandkids to learn. But just looking at it from the TV, now we watching the images, is shameful that that happened. And so, again, regardless of your politics, whatever you think, um, things like that is an attack on our democracy, and it should have never happened. And so, uh, earlier this week, on that day, the current president, President Biden, gave a speech. I think it was a very good speech on the event. Um, you know, some of the Fox News people were saying how divisive it was. Um, to that, I it's a rhetorical question, but my question to back to them would be, so what you've been covering this whole time, this whole year, this past year, about the president, about vaccines, about COVID, those were not divisive, but the president's speech on Tuesday, or on January 6th, that was divisive. Um, yeah, just sit back and ponder a little bit about that, right? What the former president, for the fifth president of the United States, everything that he was saying, everything that he did, those were not divisive, but President Biden's speech were was divisive. So just the hypocrisy there is a lot. And second thing is, um, I'm going to try to be very respectful and very neutral. I respect everyone's opinion. This is, what's great about this country that I love, is that everybody is entitled to their opinion. However, we all have to operate on the same fact and logic and science, right? I My upbringing might be different than someone else's upbringing. Hence, my experiences, my opinion based on those experiences can be different than someone else's opinion, because of the upbringing, the history, the family, the culture. However, facts should never be different. Facts is something that happened. It should There should be no question that cannot be disputed. Everybody have to agree on something. Like what happened on January 6th happened. We have recorded events about that, right? So I think in order to have a good dialogue, in order to have a good conversation, you know, differences in opinion, that's good. We can discuss, we can have a conversation about it, we can debate and whatnot. But we have to operate on the same fact, on the same level of actual events that happen. If we cannot have that, you know, that basic understanding, I, 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 we have a long way to go. And I don't know what else. I don't know how to fix it. We are so Our country is so divisive right now, and I don't know how we got here. I remember, as I meant, I love this country. I wasn't born here. I came to the U.S. In the early part of 2000, and at the time, President Bush was the president, and yeah, there was disagreement, policy wise, philosophical differences, but the when the war in Iraq and the war in Afghanistan, if my memory serves, There was disagreement on both sides, like whether or not to go to war. However, we stood behind the president. We give him the support. Now it's so divisive. And former President Obama, he said this, and I'm going to paraphrase what he said, but I agree with him. He said that if you know if you dislike or if you hate your fellow American who happen to be on the other side of the political party, if you dislike them or if you hate them more than you hate our uh, adversaries, more than we hate the Russians, more than we hate the Chinese, I think that's the sad thing about it, right? Where our politics has consumed so much of us, of our lives. So again, you know, it's my opinion. That's what I thought about it. Uh, on to the next things. Again, I'm trying to keep these videos short every week, so that um, quick, really quick. The next thing I want to talk about is the Amar Arbery sentencings, right? So yesterday the judge came out with the sentence. They were all found guilty. I'm not going to go into too much details, but um, I think for speaking, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not speaking from a legality perspective. This is just my opinion, right? My common sense opinion. I think the whole thing was unfortunate. It didn't have to happen. What happened, kind of it's ruined everyone's life. One man was dead. Now three men is going to go to prisons. All of their families are being affected and ruined. It didn't have to happen. I think the gun culture, the vigilante culture, I think that kind of contribute to it. Um, I listen to a radio host, Marcellus Wiley, right? He's a former football player, and it's not the exact same situation, but he said that either his grandma or his mom said that nothing good ever happened after 2 a.m. Right? So just stay home. Don't go don't go seeking trouble after 2 a.m. Although with this situation it's a little bit different. It happened during the daytime. You know, I think the point of the story is don't put yourself in a precarious situation, right? If you see something or someone happening that you're like, okay, that's not right. Um, Instead of putting yourself in that situation, this also applied to the Kyle Rittenhouse case as well. Instead of putting yourself in that situation and be a vigilante, you know, call the cops. Let them solve it, right? That's what they're there for, right? We pay tax money for. So if that if the defendants had they done that, probably we wouldn't be sitting here today. Um, a man would still be alive, and these people would still be with their family. So I think that's the whole point of it is, not speaking from a legality perspective, but just common sense. Like you, you know, if you don't have to put yourself in that situation, don't. But yeah, that's it. That's all the my thoughts for this week. And again, I'll be coming back next week with another video of the current events. Again, wish you all a happy 2022. Uh, be healthy with your family. I wish you the best and hope to come back next week for another video. Thank you so much.